there's no builders on either side of my family. And but as a young boy, I always liked to use my hands and build things. As I got into high school, they had a trade school there, and so I said, well, I'll try a trade school, and I went into cabinet making. And sort of ironic, I'd went in, and the instructor there was saying, started telling us what a saw was and a hammer was, and so I put up with that for about 2 days, and I finally just, me and a friend of mine that's dad was a carpenter, and we just went and told the instructor, said, sir, we understand that you got to explain this and teach your class, but you know, we come over here to build stuff. Long story short, we wound up building probably every instructor in that trade school dog houses or dog boxes to go on the back of their trucks, and the teachers and all over there. So, but God just give me a talent, and this past June was 35 years that I've been in business myself.
Sam probably knows more about construction than any builder that I've ever been. He knows every facet of building, and that is such a rare thing.
You know, Sam epitomizes what a member should be in the Home Builders Association of Alabama, in my opinion. He's always taken an active leadership role. Any assignment that he was asked to fill, he did it in exemplary fashion. He's always been an active membership person. He was a membership chairman when we were trying to attain the 10,000 member mark, and he made that happen. And of course, the economy has changed since that time, but Sam's interest in membership never has varied. He's been a key member in helping us with our retention efforts statewide, and still maintains a very much of a presence when it comes to membership. It's important to him, and he understands how important it is to the association.
Sam has fought so many fights for the Home Builders Association. I can think of one thing when the Alabama Health Department started impacting on our septic tank situations, and Sam led that fight, and I don't think anybody could have fought a harder fight or done better than Sam did. And not only did he help this local association, he impacted the entire state with the battle that he fought.
He has a reputation of being a rough, tough business guy, just all business. And if you cut him open, the vinyl organs would be stamped with a home builder logo. He's that dedicated to the home building industry and to the state association and of course the local.
My son was fortunate enough to have a football scholarship at Jacksonville State. Jacksonville being Sam's hometown, he knew about it. He called me and congratulated me and my son, and he said, look, when Selby gets up here, you tell him to call me and I'll show him around, and I'll take him to the places that he needs to know about, and show him the ones that he doesn't need to know about. Well, I was talking to Bud Canner later that day, and I told him the story of talking to Sam about those places, and Bud said, well, I tell you what, why don't you let me keep an eye on both of them?
People think of him as being a hard-nosed businessman, but he knows how to have fun. We were down in Montgomery one time, one of the legislative affairs meetings, had the legislative reception, and after that we decided that we weren't through having fun, so we got in a cab and told the cab driver to take us to the biggest party in town. Well, I can't tell you the rest of that one. Down in Perdido one time, we were having our summer meeting, back years ago in Perdido, and things were rocking along pretty good. One night I came in a little early and walking across the lobby, and Sam wasn't through having a good time either, so we decided we'd go down to Floribama. So we eased on down there, went in, met, nah, I can't tell you that one. We were in Washington, we went up to D.C., and I met him at a restaurant there in D.C., and we had, he was having supper, and I had a cup of coffee, and we got thinking about it, sitting in a restaurant in D.C., late at night drinking coffee is about as much fun as wet bread. So we decided we'd go have us some fun. We went down on Elm Street and made it over to the Cinderella. I better not tell you that one.
We put on a womanless beauty pageant. And so the rooms were full where the convention was held, and I had to get a room next door in another hotel. So I had to parade myself from that hotel across the parking lot, then go in to the back bar where the pool was. And so, yeah, that was I always recall that day. That was a little different.
He's a stand-up guy. He's a self-made man who can strap on a nail apron today and frame a house if he needs to, and he's willing to do what's necessary to get the job done. He's just an inspiration to a lot of people, and he certainly is to me, and I couldn't be more proud for him to be inducted into the Alabama Building Industry Hall of Fame.
He's a good man. He's well deserving of the honor that he's going to get, and I'm sure when Sela hears all of this, she's going to be some of our stories. She's going to push him far, and I've probably gotten into a sufficient amount of trouble with Sela already, again. But he's a good man. He deserves this honor, and I congratulate him.
Well, first of all, I'd like to, just thank my wife, my family, because for 35 years she supported me and my families and in what I did. And I'd like to thank my association. They've always supported, and I've always, tried to work with them and help any way I could. It's an honor for me to be chosen as the inductee by the association, and it makes me proud, and I want to continue to make others proud as we continue down this road.
Of course, my dad, having started the business, encouraged his sons to be involved in the company and work, develop that work ethic as a young person. So I've been framing and working on this cruise for a very long time now, since 14 or 15 years old. My dad was one of the charter founding members of the Home Builders Association in Dothan, and that was around 1956, 57. And so he was obviously involved, very active and involved, and then of course he subsequently had everybody else in the company to be involved. And
I was excited when Mark became active with us. He has such a quiet confidence about him and easy manner that's so pleasant to work with.
And he's just a go-getter. He just gets out and gets the job done. And he respects all of his people, all of his members.
Mark's an inspiration to a lot of people in a number of different ways. He's such a leader. If you look at his service with any organization or entity across the board, it always ends up being a position of leadership.
One year he had to serve 2 consecutive years as president. Mark never said he was too busy or he was tired or he didn't want to do anymore. Just went about whatever the situation demanded in a very pleasant sort of way.
Mark was selected for a presidential appointee, and I called Bill Deloney and asked about Mark. I was on the nominating committee, and Bill said, good, strong man. I talked to Elizabeth Wheelock, who was executive officer. Elizabeth says he is a good man. Talked to Fred Sheary, and Fred Sheary and I were very good friends and traveled quite a bit on the national trail, and he said, go for it, because he's a good man. And I've just been blessed to have followed him through all the steps up to the presidency and beyond, having served on the nominating committee, and have served on many committees with him. It's been an enjoyable relationship with Mark.
I was so excited when he came to work with Home Builders because I thought, oh, I'm going to love being the mentor for Mark. And all of a sudden one day I realized I wasn't the mentor. Mark was my mentor and my wailing wall and my support and everything. When things went wrong, I called Mark. And Mark was so good about calling me periodically to see if everything was going right. So he's just been a wonderful right-hand person for me. I've enjoyed every minute of working with him, and I won't ever let him go. He's just somebody in my life I'll always be proud to know.
Don Nolan, every year the dreaded interview that, you know, the up and coming, the officers that were going through the nomination process would have to interview, and it's scary for those guys to come in and sit at the table, you know, with 14 or 15 people staring at you and asking you questions. And then at the very end, the very last question, my first year of being there, Don Nolan looks at me and says, "Well, Mark, are you normally a cross-dresser?" And I'm thinking, what? You know, where does this come from? And it's, you know, I'm already scared to death, but much less he's asked me, what is this question? But we'd had a womanless beauty contest that year, and he had thought I was in it, and of course I was not.
Mark Saliba is of Lebanese descent, which most everybody knows that, but he's kind of got a multinational look to him. If he's in Italy, you know, people think he's Italian. If he's in Spain, people think he's Spanish. Well, when we were in Mexico on a mission trip to build some houses down there, they thought he was Mexican. And it was really funny, the experiences we had as a result of that. When we came across the border at night into the United States to stay, Tommy Doyle would always want to go back into Mexico to have dinner so we could kind of feel some of the local flavors and experience, you know, Mexico. Mark wouldn't go because he was afraid that they wouldn't let him back across the border. And he prevailed. We ate dinner at the Whataburger just about every night while we were there.
I'm so glad that he's attained this honor. It's certainly well deserved and due, and we're so proud of him.
I can't think of anybody more deserving for this induction than Mark Saliba. Angie and Ben and Abby and of course little Eli, they've got such a wonderful family, very loving. In fact, a lot of people don't realize that Mark's nickname in Dothan at his workout facility is Big Love. And I think it's very appropriate that he be called that because he's got a big heart. And he puts that big heart into everything he does. And as a result of that, it's an inspiration to a lot of people, including me. And I couldn't be more happy for him tonight be inducted into the Building Industry Hall of Fame.
In 1 Corinthians, it speaks of love. I take Mark's name and I put that in there. I say Mark never gives up. He never loses faith. He always is helpful and hopeful, and he always faces the circumstances. I just thank him and congratulate him and tell him it is an honor for me to be a friend and a brother to him.
There's plenty of people that you know, want to thank. You know, my family and not only my immediate family. You know, I've got you know, it's not only my father and my mother, but my brother and everyone at the company that is, you know, while they're, you know, working hard at the company and I'm at, you know, meetings, and probably to them seems like I'm always off playing, but, you know, they've been so supportive of me being able to be a part of the association with my time and all. My father, who has, you know, given us all good examples of being a part of a community is, and that's the way I look at the association. It's a community of family and friends and relationships, and that's what's the most important to me. And he taught us that you know, to be involved, to give back, you know, to serve others, and to do something beyond just yourself. A lot of great people that have already been inducted into the Hall of Fame, and wonderful, good, kind people that have given so much of their time to our association, and just to be even thought of in that same group is very humbling, and it means a lot to me. But you just get a lot of great relationships, and it's family. And so it's like your family telling you, good job, and well done. And so that's what it means the most.